Hello everyone and welcome back to my FI Crusade. I'm your host, the FI Crusader, and today we're going to get into depth on all of my financial sins. I'm going to show you all of my debts and why I'm not paying on some of them. And if you stick around to the end, you'll even get a bonus. Before we get into the numbers, if you haven't already, take a second to click the subscribe button, hit the notification bell to get notified whenever I post a new video. That way you can keep an eye on me, make sure that I'm reforming my deviant ways and not just continuing to repeat my financial sins. So now that we've got that out of the way, let's look at my credit cards. Now I own 5 credit cards. Each of these cards has its own interest rate. So let's look at the balances on these cards. Now that brings my credit card total to $14,193.27. And one thing to keep in mind, even though those interest rates are fairly high, of those 5 cards, the Chase Sapphire Reserve card is the only one that I don't have my interest waived on, which means that the Chase Sapphire Reserve is the only one that I pay interest for. And I pay that card off in full at the end of every month. So the next category of debts that I have is home improvement loans. When I bought this house, it had been fully renovated, and yet there was still stuff that had to be fixed. There always is. Now, one of those loans, admittedly, was for something that I wanted, not necessarily something that we needed, and that would be for our home central air system. Now, I took out 2 personal loans in order to do the updates needed in this house. The first one was a requirement, and it was to weatherproof the basement. When I first bought this house, I found that when it rained a lot or when it snowed a lot and then suddenly melted, we had an issue with a lot of flooding in the basement. The cost of that was around $10,000, and that loan still has about $8,000 left on it, and that's the 6.99% interest rate. The second of my personal loans is 4.99% for my central air system. Now, this one was more of a nice to have than it was a requirement, but I hadn't decided to renovate my financial life yet, so I ended up renovating my house instead. That being said, there is $19,596.74 left on that loan. So that brings us to a total of $27,596.74 for the home improvement loans. So the next category that we're going to look at is student loans. Now, I've mentioned this in a couple other videos, but I have 2 bachelors, so this number is going to get a little scary. I actually hold 12 different loans, and 2 of those were a consolidation of several other loans. 2 loans that are with Nelnet, and those 2 loans are at 2.625% because those were the 2 consolidated loans. The remaining loans, the 10 other loans, are all through Navient. That brings the total of my student loans to $76,008.41. Now, I do not pay those back right now. All of those loans are currently in a process called Forbearance, in which case I do not continue paying on them. However, they do continue to accrue interest. And the reason I'm not paying on them is because the Department of Education is looking at those loans and looking at the school where I had those loans. Because the second school that I went to actually went out of business after the Department of Education pulled their rights to accept Department of Education loans. And the reason why they did that is because they found that that school was providing very shoddy private loans that they personally were securing, and therefore they were making money off of at extremely high interest rates. They were funneling kids into those high-interest private loans that could have otherwise qualified for lower-interest public loans or even lower-interest private loans. And what they were doing was basically defrauding all of their students. And they did this through a number of methods, including forging people's signatures on student loan documents in order to basically tell the person that they were getting one rate and then turn around and sign for a different one. Now, the Department of Education has provided a process called Defense to Repayment, which allows students to reach out to them and have them evaluate whether or not they were part of this defrauding process. And if they were, those student loans will, the ones that are public, the Department of Education loans, will then get wiped and basically forgiven. Of that $76,008.41, $46,940.56 is eligible for that defense to repayment, which means if the Department of Education actually does find in my favor, they will wipe that loan, that amount from my loans, meaning that I will have only $29,067.85 remaining on my student loan balance. So right now, because I don't know whether they're going to find in my favor or not, the Department of Education has rightly put these loans into forbearance. And that means that I don't have to make payments on it, and therefore I won't spend more money chasing these loans when they may be forgiving them anyway. The downside is that if they choose not to wipe these loans, then I've been accruing interest while they've been sitting on their hands trying to make this decision for the better part of 5 years now. And I'm not joking about that. I think when I first put my request for defense to repayment in, it was 2016. It was right in the middle of the election year. So between the influx of people that that were making these requests for review and the fact that there was a government turning over, there wasn't much action taken there. Now, I would like to say that that's the only reason that process has taken so long, but it isn't. Because of the government turnover, the new administration that came in, the Department of Education now being run by somebody who used to be a member of these kind of for-profit colleges that were defrauding people. That person is now in charge of deciding whether or not I get my money back for being defrauded. And because of that, every single one of those requests for review have been on hold for the last 3 years. So I don't know when they're going to make that decision. All I know is that while they are not making any decisions, it's continuing to increase the amount of money that I'm going to end up having to pay if they choose not to actually wipe this debt. So that's a risk that I have to take, unfortunately. Hopefully, there are some court cases going through right now challenging the Department of Education to get off their butt and actually review these requests. So we'll see what happens there. In the meantime, I just have to wait and see. Now, the final category of debt that we haven't talked about yet is mortgage debt. And Dave Ramsey likes to say that there's no such thing as good debt and bad debt. It's all bad debt. I disagree with him on that one. I think that if your debt is making you money, then it is not bad debt. If you have deadbeat debt, debt that's not doing anything for you, it's just dragging you down, that's bad debt. But mortgage debt is not doing that. Mortgage debt is giving you the ability to pay money today at the rate that money is worth today for something that's then fixed, a payment that is fixed and therefore is going to be worth less every year for the next 30 years. So my $1,000 payment this year, this month, is not going to be equal to a $1,000 payment in year 28, 29, 30. It just isn't. That's not the way inflation works. When money inflates, that means that a dollar is worth less. And therefore, my $1,000 payment today, after 30 years of inflation, that $1,000 payment is still $1,000, but $1,000 means a whole lot less in 30 years. And on top of that, the value of my house is increasing as well over the course of that 30 years. So, and that far outpaces the interest rate on my mortgages. My mortgages are both, and I have two of them, one for the primary purchase of the home and a secondary mortgage that was provided from through the state because of my income level and because of certain qualifications for first-time home buyers. My state, Connecticut, has this program that allows you to also finance the closing costs and your down payment. And so my two mortgages are at a fixed 3.25% interest rate, which is extremely good. And my first mortgage, the primary mortgage, I have $187,854.53 left. The secondary mortgage, I have $7,961.10 left. So all total between my two mortgages, I have $195,815.63. So that brings the total of all of my accounts, if we look at these and add them all up, brings it to $313,614.05. So that is my financial sins. That's a big number. The thing to keep in mind, though, is that over $200,000 of that is offset by the fact that if I were to sell my home today, I could pay off over $200,000 of that because of the worth of my home. And so that's where your net worth comes in. And if you're wondering what net worth is or what my net worth is, check out my video right here. You can also go back to my video from January and see what my net worth was then. And I have a series that if you want to follow, if you want to keep track of how my process is going for getting out of debt and moving forward towards retirement, if you want to stick around and check those videos out, hit the subscribe button, click the notification bell to get notified whenever I post a new video. That way you can keep track of me. And please, if you have any questions, if you have any comments, anything that you want to see, post in the comments down below. Let me know that you're watching. Let me know that you're interested. Bonus time. Today's bonus. I'm having a baby. We are 20 weeks now. We are 20 weeks pregnant, my fiance and I. And so it will be July 7th is our estimated due date. If you made it this far, congratulations! You got to see my bonus. Yeah. So yeah, comment down below if you have any questions or if you want to see any new content. If you haven't, we will be posting some stuff about how to deal with budgeting when you're having a budgeting for a baby, when you're trying to also budget for retirement. I'll be posting some videos about that as well. If you have any questions or comments, down below. I have noticed a few new subscribers. Welcome. Thank you very much for taking the time to take a look at my videos and to subscribe to my channel. If you like this video, hit the like button. Let me know that you like it. And yeah, I'm gonna go look at the baby photos. You want to look at the baby photos? I'll put some up. I'll put some ultrasound video up, and you guys can watch that on the outro. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.